Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Tuesday, January 6th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith is back and ready to break down the Tuesday NHL card for us. We've got a big card on tap. Looking forward to it, as always, on a big Tuesday. So excited to break that down for sure. And like I said, looks like 10 games. Yeah, 10 games on tap for tonight. We'll get to those in just a moment. But first, of course, as always, we will look back on what we saw last night in the NHL. And what we saw was the Washington Capitals putting a touchdown on the board and a 7-4 victory over the Anaheim Ducks, and Peter Mrazek getting blitzed and then getting injured. It feels like a movie I've seen 10 times before, seeing that happen. But yes, Mrazek in net struggled and then got injured, and Lukáš Dostal had to finish that game. I don't think he wanted Joel Quenneville at all to put Dostal in there. I think if he hadn't gotten injured, that was Peter Mrazek was going to eat it for the 60 minutes. You know, he could have been giving up 9 goals in that game. I don't think he was coming out unless he got injured. And unfortunately, he got injured for the Anaheim Ducks, and they had to go to Lukáš Dostal. Mrazek's on IR. They've already made the move we all saw coming, that to recall Ville Husso from the San Diego Gulls to replace Mrazek. So it's just a recurring theme for Mrazek in the latter years in his career. He just cannot get through a full season without some kind of injury striking. But Washington with the 7-4 win. The struggles continue for Anaheim. And now they're on a back-to-back tonight in Philadelphia, as their losing streak goes to, I believe, 6 now after that loss last night against Washington. Utah with a 3-2 win over the New York Rangers. Happy I won the Utah money line, and I know Alex had that, and Alex had the draw. Alex had Utah and to win in overtime in that game, so that was a really profitable game. But at the same point in time, we're human beings, and it's brutal to see what happened to Igor Shesterkin getting injured in the first period of that game. He was not putting much weight on it either. Didn't look good. It looked like significant time is going to be missed here for Igor Shesterkin. Jonathan Quick had to come in and finish that game. But Utah, like I said, Utah gets the win 3-2, but the bigger story, certainly from a New York Ranger perspective, is the health of Igor Shesterkin following that game last night. Detroit beats Ottawa 5-3. This is kind of the one where, I taught myself out of betting Detroit, and kind of frustrated I didn't bet them. That being said, Ottawa probably should have won the game. They outplayed Detroit. If not for John Gibson, they probably should have won that game. And if not for horrific goaltending on the Ottawa side of the equation, it might have been a different result. It was not a good night for Levi Merolainen. He gets pulled. Hunter Shepard goes into the game, and a lot of goalie pulls, 2 for injuries and 1 for performance last night in the early 3 games. Hunter Shepard came in for his first bit of work for Ottawa since he was called up from the AHL, but Detroit was opportunistic, with the 5 goals on only 21 shots in that game. And like I said, for Gibson, it was a really good game. 37 shots faced. He did give up the 3, but like I said, they could have had 6 or 7 Ottawa with the chances they generated. And Detroit gets a 5-3 win there against Ottawa. Seattle rolls in the third period, 4 goals unanswered to turn a tie game into a 5-1 comfortable victory over the Calgary Flames. We got to give Seattle credit. This has been now a nice little run where they've kind of gotten their heads above water. Hell, they're in a wild card spot right now. It doesn't feel like Seattle should be anywhere close to a wild card spot, but here they are because, they put together a little run here, and all these other teams keep tripping over their own 2 feet, and 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So give the Kraken credit, no doubt. Nice 5-1 win and a great third period to pull away in that one. Well, I knew the moment, I started to crow about the 4-0 start with best bets here on the show. I knew we were going to maybe give one up, and we saw that last night with Minnesota. Very disappointing. They had a good first period. I thought their first period, their start was strong. They just couldn't put the puck in the net, and I didn't love their second period or their third period. It was just not great to see what they did. LA got stronger. I thought their defensive play in that game was a bit shoddy as that game went on. I thought, and Minnesota got it to 2-1. And keep in mind, LA had lost 2 forwards, going into the third period. Yoel Armia and Anze Kopitar both left that game. They were 2 forwards down. pretty much for the rest of that third period. So it was a glorious opportunity for Minnesota down 2-0 to get back in, and they get the Spurgeon goal to make it 2-1. And they're pressing and they're all over LA. And then just a horrible defensive sequence for them on the Kuzmenko goal. Kuzmenko, tremendous goal, but you see Minnesota, a 5-man unit, basically standing around watching Kuzmenko with their thumb up their ass on that goal. Terrible defending by the Minnesota Wild. 5 guys with thumbs up their keisters watching Andrei Kuzmenko make a mockery of that 5-man unit. And that was goodbye, all she wrote. Killer goal to give up after you just made it 2-1, and LA makes it 3-1. They get a bunch of power plays and they make it 3-2. So they, gave themselves a chance once again late, but the empty net goal puts it away 4-2. And like I said on Twitter after that game, at least we had the over, and that did cash, even though Minnesota lost. But I'll tell you this, and it's a perfect example on Twitter why I don't bet many unders. Can you imagine being on the under in that game? That's a scoreless, dead nuts under deep into the second period. Can you imagine that? Deep into the second period, that's scoreless. And you can't get home with under 5.5. Amazing. But that's why it's hard for me. It's hard for me to pull triggers on these unders. It just is. Alex, your thoughts on what we saw Monday night?
Yeah, like I said, it was a weird night. And you have these with these short card Mondays and Fridays. You tend to have some wacky results and things happen. Like I said, the biggest storyline of them all is easily Igor Shesterkin going down with that injury. And at first you think it's contact, but then when you see it, it was, the Utah player pulling up and him awkwardly, bending that knee and going down, not even be able to put weight on it, having to be helped off the ice. That's significant. And now you wonder, you've already said about teams that have had struggling goaltenders needing to eventually make some moves and make some changes before the trade deadline. But now when you have these injuries thrown in, Mrazek, that's an injury that you can almost set your watch to. They have Ville Husso. He's perfectly fine as a 1B or a backup. Maybe Anaheim just rides with him and Dostal the rest of the way, but Dostal's had injury issues too. But for New York, you're going to have to try. If you're making a shot toward the playoffs, you're going to have to make some kind of move. As good as Jonathan Quick has been these 2 years with the New York Rangers, this is still a guy that's in his late 30s who, hasn't played top-tier starting goaltender hockey since his days in L.A. And, Dylan Garand, as much as he's been highly touted, I don't know if he's going to be the answer to be the 1B option that you've been using Quick as for the last year and a half. So it makes you wonder what teams will be willing to wheel and deal and maybe move a goalie to one of these teams or some of these teams that are looking for goaltenders. But you can actually now throw the New York Rangers into that race for sure. And that in Minnesota-LA game, like you said, another sloppy game by the Wild. And this is something to look at too now. We've seen this with Minnesota. We saw this earlier around Thanksgiving with Chicago. These teams staying in LA and playing the Kings in a 2-game series over 3 days tend to see some weird sloppiness in that second game for sure. But this was just a rough 2-game set for Minnesota after having such a good win against Anaheim. It seems like they need to get back home or at least get the hell out of Southern California to kind of get their mojo back up and running. And, Anaheim, Washington, like I said, death taxes and Peter Mrazek getting hurt. Those are the things that you can count on year after year. But a big win for Washington. I'm mad at myself because I should have been hammering Ovechkin 2 goals. With no Wilson, no Protas, a lot of the forwards kind of just muddling around. This looked like a game where Ovechkin would step up and deliver, and he certainly did, getting the empty net goal as well. I know we don't bet those Ovechkin last goals like we were doing during his chase for the top, but still some worthy spots there with that. So good game for Washington, and like I said, we'll see if Anaheim can bounce back tonight.
We will indeed. We will be talking about Anaheim in the not too distant future. Right here on this show as they're in action again tonight. But we will begin this Tuesday card with there's a couple of really good games. You could even make the argument there's 3, even 4 really good games tonight on the NHL slate, and this is definitely one of them. We have the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Colorado -120 road favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. First thing I did with this particular game is I threw out betting the side in this game. To me, there's no move for me to make with the side. I will not bet against Colorado off a loss, period. When they have responded each time off a defeat so far this season. I don't want to bet against Colorado in a spot where they're off a 2-1 loss to Florida. But Colorado does have some injury concerns coming into this game. Gabe Landeskog, and you just hope, he's back sooner rather than later. It didn't look good live what happened, the injury in Colorado's last game. He's going to be out at least several weeks, according to Jared Bednar. Even Devon Taves on the blue line now, week to week with an injury, and he's a significant part of that blue line as well for the Colorado Avalanche. So those are two key pieces, Landeskog and especially Taves, man. Taves is such a good defenseman. I still don't feel after all these years he gets talked about or appreciated enough as far as his play on the back end for this Colorado Avalanche team. Cale Makar gets all the attention and the headlines and the accolades, but Devon Taves is absolutely outstanding as well. So they will miss him here. This Tampa Bay team is on fuego right now. There's no denying that whatsoever. 7-game win streak, 4+ goals scored by this Lightning team in all 7 victories during this win streak. So their offense is feeling it. There is no question whatsoever about that. They are still down 3 defensemen, though. We've talked about how the cluster injuries on the blue line have hurt them defensively at times, and they are for this game still without Victor Hedman, Emil Lilleberg, and Ryan McDonough. Now, they do have Chernak back. He's been back for a few games, but still to miss multiple starting defensemen with Colorado and what they can do offensively coming into town, that is a bit of a concern. I'm not going to overthink this or overcomplicate it. The total is where I'm at here in this game. Tampa's on an overrun, over machine during this win streak, scoring left and right. I like backing good teams and especially offensively bouncing back when they've been held down like Colorado was. 1 goal, obviously, in the Florida loss to bounce back offensively. I know we're going to get probably Vasilevsky and Wedgwood as the 2 goalies, and they're both capable, but I like over 6. I got over 6. I like it still at 6.5. Alex, what do you think here, Colorado, Tampa Bay?
It's like I said, usually not wise to go against Colorado, but I think in this spot, this is the spot where I can back Tampa Bay. They're on a win streak. We've seen Colorado get their win streak snapped. Being on the road, that could be a little trickier to get back into the win column. So I think this is a spot where Tampa Bay at even money, I'll take a shot with the Lightning here. Like I said, looking at
coming
the total,
off the West Coast is the only thing I don't like, but you're right. I wouldn't bet against Tampa. I don't want to bet against either of these teams, period. That's why I'm not on it.
Right, but I feel comfortable, and this goaltending matchup too. As great as Wedgwood's played, this is a spot where I feel like this could be a Vasilevsky steal a game for Tampa Bay spot. Like you said, coming back home off of a West Coast trip, they'll need him to be the defense more than the blue liners in front of him. So give me Tampa at even money here. Nothing on the draw. I'll look for that total to drop to 6 in game. Like I said, definitely could see this being back and forth, but I think Tampa wins this one.
All right, Tampa Bay. Home underdog for a team that's won 7 in a row is pretty appealing. I will say that. There's no question. But it's just Colorado off a loss. I don't want to do it, but I get it. I get and the price is certainly good. This team.
And if it was reverse, if Colorado still had this streak going and Tampa Bay just had this streak broken coming home, I'd probably be all over Colorado in that spot too. So
yeah,
it's a spot.
It's a great game. There's no denying.
Oh yeah,
this is one of the games you got to be watching tonight here in the NHL. No question about that. All right. So like I said, as far as goal props are concerned, and by the way, I was looking for strong trends about Colorado performance pattern after scoring just 1 goal or less. And I think actually that game against Florida was the first time they've been held to 1 goal or fewer this year. Or certainly I didn't see another time where Colorado had been held to 1 goal or less this year. So that tells you just how great they have been so far. Yeah, Terry is in the chat, Terry Edelman. What's the matter with your fucking Wild, Terry, last night? Terrible. Brutal by them.
Brutal.
But anyway, welcome into the chat.
Good
Terrible loss. But nevertheless, I couldn't resist saying that. Nikita Kucherov, 5 straight games with a goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so I wouldn't talk anyone out of that. Points on a 3-game goal scoring streak as well right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think you got to bet Darren Radish to score at the prices you're still getting with him on the blue line. Plus 600, 4 of the last 10. We've seen Radish find the back of the net, and he's doing all the shit and all the ice time, all the responsibility, all the power play minutes, all that Hedman normally would have on this team. So that's why he's certainly been undervalued as far as player props of late. I'd look at Gage Gonsalves too. He's still on the top line, it looks like, tonight with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov. So we like the player up the lineup, and right now it's Gage Gonsalves getting that opportunity right now for Tampa Bay here in this game. I think, we talk about Brock Nelson's been in good form. Lehkonen is starting to heat up with McKinnon and Natchez. Gavin Brindley, the rookie, might be up on the second line here tonight for this the Colorado Avalanche team. So like I said, Kevin Brindley might have some value here for the Avs if he plays on that second line, as it looks like he will tonight with Nelson and Call on Me, Valerie Nichushkin on that second line. All right, Anaheim and Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 150 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. I'm still on this Anaheim over wave tonight with some reservation, though. They did give up 7 last night. It is going to be Dostal, although Dostal, we've talked about this, hasn't been the same since the injury. Has not been anywhere close to that same level we saw from him pre-injury early in the season when he was having a great start to the year, no question. So, like I said, that is something to keep an eye on here. Jonathan Davis says Olofsson on the top. He's seeing Olofsson on the top line for Colorado tonight. Oh, interesting. I don't unless I'm seeing unless RotoWire's incorrect, but no, if that is the case, yeah, absolutely. If Victor Olofsson's going to be on the top line, yeah, plus 500 goal prop is worth a look. But getting back here to Anaheim, Philly, I've grabbed a piece of over 6. I'm on the draw here. It's really that simple with Ducks and Flyers. I do expect Anaheim. I thought Anaheim played well and hard last night, but you can't just have every shot that you give up going in. And that's what was happening early in that game for Washington. Anaheim outshot him. Anaheim was all over Washington in that third period. They got it to 5-4 after being down 5-1, and they had all kinds of I actually give Lindgren credit. Lindgren had a good third period to keep Washington afloat because they were hanging on at the end of that game in the third period. And then, of course, they got the empty netter to seal at 6-4. But after battling so hard and battling back, and it's almost the worst case scenario for the Ducks. Like you're on a back-to-back on the road. If you had just lost and gone quietly into the night, 5-1, and maybe it gets to 6-1, 7-1, you leave some energy in the tank, some energy in the reserve for tonight. But no, you battled your ass off right till the end. You got it from 5-1 to 5-4. You worked your tail off right till the end of that game last night, and maybe it leaves you a little more, short on energy tonight, if you will, for this back-to-back against the Flyers. The problem with backing Anaheim is, A, they're struggling. They're on a bad losing streak. Defensively, they've got issues. B, it's a back-to-back. But the problem with backing Philly, they're off a long road trip. It's not a Philly spot by any stretch of the imagination here, coming off the Western Canadian trip that ended with a great win against Edmonton Saturday afternoon. I don't want to lay with Philly in this spot. Certainly not at a price of minus 150. So I see these teams playing pretty close, as far as competitive hockey. Still think the effort will be there for Anaheim, even on a back-to-back. And I don't know if Philly is going to have – I don't think they're in the spot to just go in and just drill Anaheim here tonight. I think we're going to see a pretty competitive game, pretty close game. We'll see about who wins. I don't want to, really jump on predicting that. But like I said, the draw, East versus West, expecting a competitive game. I do like that. Alex, what do you think? Anaheim, Philly.
This is what draw season is all about. East versus West. You have a desperate Anaheim team that's been on a losing streak, needing to get at least a point, especially on this road trip. You got a Philly team who's been on the road for 9 of their last 10 games, going all the way back to December 14th. The only game they had was that December 22nd game right before the Christmas break at home against Vancouver. Ducks team that gave up 7 goals just last night. Coach Quenneville not going to be happy about that. He's one of the coaches that we know will not always overcorrect, but will certainly make corrections as far as his team being prepared on defense after a track meet kind of a game like that. And we have the 2 better goalies. Dostal going up against Vladar. Vladar has played well at home. So, yeah, this screams draw. Now, you can get the draw. Best price available earlier was plus 325 at Bet Online. Of course, if you have Caesars, you can bet this is game to go to overtime. And yes, no prop that yes is plus 340, the best price available. But I like this one to go past 60.
All right, good stuff indeed there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm only on the over because of the Anaheim streak. When the teams are streaking to the over, I ride it, and that's what I'm doing. But I don't love this over because there are some undersigns here for this game tonight. Yeah, Mishkov, by the way, Matvei Mishkov, game time decision for the Flyers. So he may or may not suit up here tonight for them. And like I said, now with Mrazek injured, it will be Ville Husso backing up Lukas Dostal here tonight for this game. Oh, by the way, Seneca. We have to take Beckett Seneca for Anaheim. Heating up again. 3 straight games with a goal for the Anaheim Ducks. He's certainly been finding the back of the net of late. Travis Konechny has goals in 3 of the last 5. for the first time in multiple games now, I will not be betting Carl Grundstrom. Hopefully he doesn't score tonight, but he's finally cooled off a little bit after that crazy run where he had 4 games in a row with a goal for the Philadelphia Flyers. But no, we will not be attempting to witness the power of Grundstrom here tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers. Let me see what up. Denver Barkey, man, he gets his first NHL goal Saturday afternoon against Edmonton. He is playing on the second line. Sometimes all it takes is one for a young kid and a rookie to get a little confidence going. It's not like Anaheim is playing like the 95 Devils right now. Far from it defensively. So Denver Barkey might be worth a look here tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers too, as far as offense is concerned. We have to talk about the two situations as well for this game. Obviously, for the Philadelphia Flyers, you got Trevor Zegras, former Anaheim Duck, playing against his old team here tonight. So anything with Trevor Zegras involved, player prop-wise, makes some sense. Now, he has played already once against these Flyers in Philly, but he will do so again. Cutter Gauthier, and, he'll always want to shut up the crowd when he goes back to Philadelphia. And they will boo. They are. They're still pretty pissed that, he just outright said, I'm not playing here.
Yeah.
And so, the Flyer fans will let it be known and heard tonight when it comes to Cutter Gauthier. So Cutter Gauthier will want them to shut the fuck up. And the way he can do that is scoring a goal. So the Cutter Gauthier or a point prop, anything with Gauthier props tonight here in this game, that also is something I'm looking at. All right, Vancouver, Buffalo. We've got Buffalo minus 160, home favorites, 6 the total here in this one, Canucks and the Sabres. You look at this Vancouver team starting a road trip. They have been much better on the road this year than at home. Again, just like last year, they're 4-15 at home, but they're 12-10. They actually have a winning record on the road. The Vancouver Canucks. We'll see if that continues. This is crazy to see this, but other than one single Vancouver home win back in March 2024, other than that, 7 of the last 8 meetings have been won by the road team. Buffalo has won every game in Vancouver, and Vancouver has won every game in Buffalo. So take that for what it's worth here going into this game. This is a tough side for me. I don't want Buffalo off the seeing the big, epic, franchise record-tying win streak snapped. I don't want Buffalo in this spot. Certainly not at minus 160. I could only look at Vancouver plus 140. But here's the problem with that. Vancouver's going up against UPL. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen picked a pack of pickled peppers in net for the Buffalo Sabres tonight. He's like George Vezina and Dom Hasek at home. Like he is. And every time I keep thinking this can't continue with the UPL. And, of course, he struggled against Columbus, but he was playing pretty well before that. But at home, he's been phenomenal. I mean, 5-1, 1.81 goals against average, 1.81 for this guy on home ice with the goals against, and a .927 save percentage. So he just continues to play some really good hockey here on home ice. But this just feels like one of these situations where for Buffalo, I don't want him at this price. I don't trust them after the win streak gets snapped. But they have been good at home. The UPL's been amazing. Absolutely amazing as far as home ice, and he's been a much different goalie at home compared to on the road going into this game. But I don't want Buffalo in this spot. It's Vancouver or pass, but I chose pass for me. Maybe the draw, but there's other draws I like. Alex, what do you think here? Vancouver, Buffalo.
I am on dog and draw here. I grabbed Vancouver. I actually got plus 145 this morning, but I still endorsed it at 140. I grabbed the draw, which that is best price available as game to go to overtime. Yes, plus 340. And I also have the FanDuel special, which I cashed for last night with Utah. We're doing that here with Vancouver plus 550 to win in overtime or a shootout. This is a play that I already had circled. I actually already had bet at plus 400. Had Buffalo continued the streak here. This was already the spot where I had circled that I thought the streak would end off of the road trip, off of the, like I said, the game that would have given them the record. This looks like a complete down spot. And yes, UPL, nice numbers at home, but okay. Like I said, this has been a Buffalo team that had been just vibing and playing well. I don't think that was all UPL. He's not a guy that I'm still ready to write in as a top 15, top 20 goaltender in this league just yet. So give me the Canucks, give me the draw, and give me the Canucks to win in overtime or a shootout.
And Thatcher Demko, just like the team, has been a lot better on the road, too. Remember that road trip? Remember he came back during that last road trip Vancouver was on, and he played very well on that road trip. Very well for the Vancouver Canucks. We'll see if that continues here. He'll be in net for the Canucks here. I think you talked me into the draw. I think I probably will bet that, but I'm definitely and I lean Vancouver, but I'm going to stay off the side just because of Buffalo at home has been good and UPL's been good at home. But this is definitely Vancouver or nothing spot for me. With Buffalo off the big win streak. As far as props, yeah, Drew O'Connor is worth a shot. UPL hasn't given up a lot of goals at home, but Drew O'Connor, goals in 3 of the last 6, 2 goals on 7 shots against UPL in the past. So I like that. And Drew O'Connor has been picking things up offensively for the Canucks, giving them a little punch from the bottom 6. You got to take Josh Doan right now, the friend of Matt and Ryan Robinson. I mean, my goodness, Josh Doan's up playing great, back-to-back games with a goal for Doan. Coming into this game as well for the Buffalo Sabres. So definitely some goal props I'm interested in here. Looks like Jason Zucker, Josh Norris, Alex Tuck. Remember Zucker coming back into the lineup here for Buffalo as well. But yeah, the Drew O'Connor look makes a lot of sense. There's another one too I like for Vancouver. Up with Pettersson and DeBrusk. Just got the contract. Heating up a little bit. Give me 5 goals in the last 7 games for him as well. How about Linus Karlsson for the Vancouver Canucks? This guy has been really starting to pick it up and heat up for Vancouver. So definitely liking Linus Karlsson as far as a goal prop tonight for the Vancouver Canucks. All right, we move along to one of the other marquee games tonight on the NHL slate. Dallas Stars, Carolina Hurricanes. You've got Carolina minus 140, home favorites. The total here sitting at 6, shaded to the over, pretty much across the board. Yeah, Dallas is they're kind of going through it and fighting it right now on this little losing streak, this little downturn they've been on. 5 straight losses. Now, 4 of them have been 1-goal losses. 3 of them have gone past regulation. So it's not like they've been terrible, but they've not gotten that big goal. They haven't gotten that big save. They just haven't had that one game-turning moment, that game-changing moment go their way of late. We saw it against Montreal. It was a winnable game for them, but they lose in overtime. Lane Hudson gets the overtime winner for the victory there in that one for the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see how this one plays out. They already played earlier this year in Dallas. Dallas got a 3-2 win over Carolina back in October. We'll see how this one plays out for the Dallas Stars. Dallas off 5 straight losses on the road. I kind of lean to them plus price, but Carolina off a 3-1 win against New Jersey, looking to gain some traction. They're also off 2 straight home losses to Colorado and Montreal for a team that has been outstanding for years on home ice. This year, though, just 13-9 at home. Dallas 13-6, 13-8 rather, I should say, on the road. So pretty close records as far as Dallas road versus Carolina home. The big news for Carolina is the return of Seth Jarvis. And our guy from Raleigh, David, who joins us on Thursday, said that Jarvis is very much missed defensively too. Not just what he can provide offensively, not just as far as how good he has been as far as putting the puck in the net, but he's a very underrated defensive forward for this Carolina Hurricanes team. And that's part of the reason why they've also had some of these ugly defensive performances lately. It's not just the goaltending and Freddie Anderson being in there for one game. And Bussy had a rough game against Montreal. But Bussy's been good over. Look at how Bussy bounced back against New Jersey from that bad game against Montreal. That's a great sign. Young kid has his worst game of his run here with Carolina against Montreal, gets shelled, and he bounces right back, and they beat New Jersey with him in net 3-1. That's a really good sign for him moving forward. So I'm very torn on this game. I like the value with Dallas, but then now I see Jonathan Davis saying Dallas is just 5-7 as a road underdog this year. So when they've been in these spots on the road facing teams as good or better than them, they've had a hard time. And so I'm probably not going to touch this game other than another draw lean for me with Dallas and Carolina. And the total could go either way too. I think it's a total. Like I look at Carolina now as a team with Jarvis back, helps them offensively, but especially defensively too. We'll see how the total goes. You give me a live 5.5 at some point, I will bet over. Yep. But I'm going to wait for that to show up. Alex, what do you think here, Dallas, Carolina?
This is one I have, circled for the over by fact the end game. I feel like with Dallas on this losing streak, Carolina to getting Jarvis back, I think there's going to be energy on both sides and a bit of a desperation. He said you could take a draw spot here. This does look like a draw season kind of an angle. We've seen, like I said, 3 of those losses for Dallas coming past regulation. But this is one I want to wait for live, especially getting 5.5 for that full game over.
Oh, so Jonathan had them reversed. Oh, they're 8. So it's 5-7 as a road favorite, 8-1 as a road dog. He had them reversed initially, so it is 8-1 as a road. Okay, well that definitely points to Dallas then, for sure in this game. I don't know. I don't love what I see. I think Carolina at home. This is as cheap as Carolina is going to be at home as well here tonight for this game as well. Keep that in mind.
I wish these two teams were playing someone else tonight. Because, like I said, I wish Dallas on the road against someone else backed them as a road dog. I wish Carolina was continuing their momentum against a weaker team.
Yeah, I will a live over if a 5.5 shows up. No question about that. I am interested in that. I'm also interested in Logan Stankoven against his old team. I am. He scored in the last game for Carolina, over plus 400 for him to find the back of the net. I like Maverick Bourque too. I do think this guy is starting to really pick things up. He's getting a little more opportunity now. Glenn Gullitson's been rolling out Maverick Bourque out there with Rope Hintz and Jason Robertson of late. So I like that. Duchesne now is with Johnston and Rantanen. So Matt Duchesne too. Watch out for him. He's someone that could start to roll a little bit. And then for Carolina, like I said, by far my favorite goal prop there would be Logan Stankoven for the Hurricanes against his former team, the Dallas Stars. In that one, Nikolai Ehlers has 3 straight games with a goal. They've been waiting on Nikolai Ehlers to get going. The big free agent signing in the offseason, and he's starting to show signs of it. All right, Devils Islanders. We've got the New Jersey Devils rather minus 120 road favorites. This one total wise at 5.5 in this game. We've got the Islanders off a thrilling comeback win against Toronto on Saturday night. That was one hell of a comeback victory for the Islanders. Matthew Schaefer doing Matthew Schaefer things. He was just absolutely outstanding there in that game. So, like I said, I think it's one of these situations where, the Islanders keep finding ways to win. You look at New Jersey now coming in here off the 3-1 loss against the Carolina Hurricanes. They'll be looking to bounce back here. So I expect a better effort here from the New Jersey Devils. That being said, not really crazy about laying a minus 120 price here with the New Jersey Devils. By the way, the Devils, 4 straight unders and 9-1 under run. 9-1 to the under for this New Jersey Devils team in their last 10 games. So keep that in mind that they have certainly been running under the trending heavily under the total here in this game. Islanders have actually owned the series of late as well. They have beaten the Devils 5 times in the last 6 meetings, and each of the last 3 games have stayed under. I also do want to point out that the Islanders are starting to show some of the traditional, tried and true characteristics that we love from them, and that's a lot of games going to overtime. 2 of the last 3 have gone past regulation for this Islanders team. Series history-wise with these 2 teams, 3 of the last 5 meetings have gone past regulation. So this is one where pregame I will take a shot with the draw. Islanders, one more time. We had that Leaf Islander draw Saturday. We'll see if we can cash another one with them here tonight. And there it is with the Devils. They're 2-6 as a road favorite, and the Isles 8-3. Now this is just a very slight home dog, but they are still a slight home dog. So those trends point to the Islanders. So it's Islanders or pass, but for me, the only move pregame right now is on the draw, and I lean under. It's hard to bet an over right now at New Jersey. They're just not scoring enough consistently. Alex, what do you think here, Devils Islanders?
Yeah, this is one where I'm on the draw as well. I grabbed plus 306 at Bet Online. There's that plus 340 option for game to go to OT over at Caesars. That is best price available. Everywhere else they're dealing draws 280, 290, and it may come cratering down lower than that. So, like I said, the Islanders back in full effect, and we've seen that with the series history. So give me the draw and shop around for the best price available. Maybe even tag in a under 6.5 or under 7.5 with the draw to boost up that price. That may be something that you could do at a FanDuel as well.
It's just something I'm going to bet. If it doesn't cash, so be it. But Luke Hughes to score a goal tonight. The kid got crushed the other night for a tough night against Carolina, booing him in the building against the Carolina Hurricanes. He owned it. He spoke to the media. He answered all the questions in the post-game press conference after that rough night against the Carolina Hurricanes. He's still in the lineup tonight. I think he responds. Give me a Luke Hughes goal prop here tonight. You could even, if you want to play it safe with assist or point, you can. But it's just something that it's just a gut type of intuition here for me with this. Watch that kid play his heart out tonight and play a lot better here in this game after, and everyone at his back. Sheldon Keefe at his back. Everyone's saying, that shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be booing him that much. And again, plus 700 is what you can get for Luke Hughes. So like I said, we'll take a shot here that Luke Hughes answers the bell, has a bounce back night here against the New York Islanders.
Yeah, now that I was mentioning at FanDuel, if you want to cross over the under with the draw, you can get plus 325 if you throw the draw with under 7.5, plus 491 if you throw the draw in with under 6.5.
Yeah. Terry's got this. Actually, Alex put it in at Terry's mind that Devils fans keep booing him, more likely he gets traded, and maybe a team like Minnesota might end up with two of the three Hughes brothers at some point in time. But like I said, yeah, you can keep on wishing. That is for sure. All right. Matthew Schaefer. Why not? I'm going to take plus almost 500 in some spots for him to find the back of the net. Matthew Schaefer for the Islanders, plus 480. Scored in back-to-back games. Why not? And he's jumping up into the play more again. It's almost like he lost his mojo a bit, to as far as, assertiveness offensively. He's finding it again. And obviously had that brilliant performance against Toronto with the 2 goals. So Matthew Schaefer for the so we like 2 defenseman goal props tonight more than anything here in this Devils-Islanders game. Schaefer for the Islanders, Luke Hughes for the New Jersey Devils. All right, this is another one of the great games tonight. Playoff history. They've met twice in the last 3 years. Division rivals. Big game in the standings. They're neck and neck, Florida and Toronto. We've got the Panthers minus 120, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Schaefer is, let me just double check on that. Was he supposed to play tonight? He is. He's in, I think. Yeah, he's in. Schaefer's in. Schaefer's playing, Jonathan. Yeah, I didn't see anything that he was an illness. Yeah, he had an illness, but he's in. He said he likes playing sick. So there you go. That kid is something as far as the interview factor and the charisma, no question. Yeah, Schaefer's in. He's got the illness, but he's playing through it. This game, I like the over here. Toronto's going to go on an overrun, in my opinion, here moving forward. This is a team that we've already seen it the last 2 games, track meet with Winnipeg. They have multiple leads against the New York Islanders. They can't hold those leads. Islanders come back to force overtime and then win it 4-3 in overtime in that game. You just can't replace the defensemen the Toronto Maple Leafs are missing right now and expect the defense to be good. It's kind of like what I've talked about with Tampa Bay with all the defensemen they've been without, and what I've talked about with Slavin for all these weeks for Carolina with him being out. You can't just take one or more of your best shutdown defensemen and expect to keep the puck out of the net as well. It's just not going to happen. And now not only have you been without Chris Tanev for a couple of games for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but now you take Jake McCabe out of there. And I'm here to tell you, Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev, there are no 2 better defensemen as far as the shutdown defensive game on this Toronto Maple Leafs team than those 2 guys, Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev. Well, you won't have either one of them here tonight in this game. Now, they do get Brandon Carlo finally back on the blue line after a long absence, but I'm here to tell you as well, Brandon Carlo was not playing well before his injury. He really wasn't. He was not playing well. He was on the ice for a lot of goals against, for the Leafs before his injury. And this is going to be the first game he plays in a very long time. He's not going to be up to game speed right away, in my opinion, especially coming off. He had surgery for what he was dealing with as well. So it does help, at least, because you have no Tanev and you have no McCabe. But still, there's a boatload of issues right now, again, starting to show up on the back end here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A blue line that's going to have, and Morgan Riley, you'd like to hope he steps up with the injuries, and he's been a bit of a nightmare defensively some of these recent games for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's been, like I said, very worrisome. I know Leaf fans have voiced their displeasure about the defensive play from Riley of late. He's going to be paired with Carlo, who hasn't played in forever. So, that's a bit of a dicey pairing. And then you go down the list and you got, I actually can't say much negative about Stetcher. I think Stetcher's played his heart out. I actually think Stetcher's played pretty good. and Ekman Larson. Actually, that's not a bad pair. But then Benoit and Myers. Benoit hasn't had the same year. Philip Myers has made a lot of gaffes and mistakes of late as well for the Leafs. So, like I said, this blue line, we've got some concerns right now. Riley got housed by Schaefer in the last game. So, like I said, there's just a lot of issues, and you're without your two best shutdown defensemen. That being said, Toronto offensively, the power play has been totally different in a positive since the coaching change. Since Savard got dismissed, they brought in Steve Sullivan, and all of a sudden that power play is clicking. Austin Matthews, I've never seen him look better in ages than he's looked the last few games, where he's absolutely exploded again for the Leafs. He looks like he's got that danger back. He looks dangerous again with the puck. It's been months since he's looked dangerous with the puck, and now all of a sudden he does again for the Toronto Maple Leafs here in the last couple games, which has been good to see. Michelli has played well. It's coming back into the lineup. Domi's starting to chip in. Nick Robertson's been good. Matthew Nyes is starting to get going. He hasn't had the season a lot of people expected. So there's a lot of positives offensively for the Leafs right now, but there's a lot of concerns defensively for them. And then on the flip side, you got Florida. They have been one of the better scoring teams since the start of December. That coincided with this run to get them right back in it, playing great hockey. But they've cooled off the last few games. They only scored 1 in the Winter Classic against the Rangers. They only scored 2 against Montreal. They only scored 1 in the loss against Colorado in their last game. So they have cooled off a little bit offensively, but I think they get the offense revved up tonight. This is a big rivalry game. Toronto's a little bit leaky and vulnerable and depleted on the back end. I do think Florida gets some offense going. So I like over 6. Definitely. That's my favorite look on this game. I lean draw again here with Panthers and Leafs, quite honestly. It wouldn't shock me if we get this game going past regulation, but definitely like this game over the total here. Alex, what do you think, Panthers, Leafs?
Yeah, this one came short of coming in under my card with the draw, but I do like this over at 6. And like you said, with the cluster injuries now on the back end for Toronto, combined with them getting their offense rolling, and like I said, Florida's been kind of cold offensively in the last couple of games. I think that could revert tonight. So I like goals here. So I'm right there with you on that over 6.
Actually, you know what? I'll lay the minus 135 to get over 5.5. I see over 5.5 at DraftKings minus 135. I will lay I always don't mind laying the minus 135 to get 5.5 here in this game. So that's exactly what I will look at here for this game. And again, back-to-back overs for Toronto. And again, as the defensive concerns are piling up again, like Tanev and McCabe as a gaping hole you cannot fill defensively. You cannot fill that. Those are the top 2 shutdown guys that are out against the best players. They're always out on the penalty kill. They block a shit ton of shots together. That is missing a ton of defensive acumen when you take those 2 blue liners out of your lineup in Tanev and McCabe, and that is definitely something that's concerning right now for the Leafs. As far as props go for this game, and Bobrovsky and Woll, by the way, will be the goaltending matchup here in this game. Great point by Jeff. And Jeff, I saw Jeff Bedford's. That's his name, right? Yeah, Jeff Bedford. I saw his email. It's been so freaking busy. I haven't had a chance to get back to him, but he sent me this email about some a totals app for NHL that he's involved with or put together or is involved with. And he sent it to me. I did look at it. It's really good. It's really good.
It is.
So Jeff Bedford, shout out to you. I recommend it. It's a good totals app. So like I said, good work on that. Very good. It's got everything you could think of. Historical stuff, home versus road stuff, current form, trends, series history stuff, as far as totals, betting in the NHL. Yeah, it's very good, Jeff. Well done. Keep up the good work with that.
And the other cool thing about that, too, is you can also split information by goaltender as well. It's very useful, very insightful. We will be adding that. We will be posting we haven't done it this year, but we're going to post our links that every NHL bettor should follow. That will be a link that will be added to it for sure. So shout out to you, Jeff.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, like I said, it's good. I'm just already after seeing it, going to start using it. Like I said, no doubt. It's really good. And I know he asked me for some feedback. There's the feedback. It's very good. Keep doing what you're doing. Slap Rubber, by the way. Slap Rubber is the name of that totals app for NHL betting. Like I said, goalie matchups, head-to-head history, rest stuff, venue stuff, history. I mean, it's just every
day and night splits, which
yes.
we've been talking about with the Sunday unders.
Yep.
So that's something that we can now follow throughout the week as well. So really good.
Yeah, no doubt. So like I said, it's a great app, and I suggest checking it out for sure, no doubt. All right, as far as props, Austin Matt, you're not getting great prices, but like it is, ride the hot hand while he's feeling it again. 2 games in a row with a goal. He's got 5 goals in the last 2 games for the Leafs. Nick Robertson, though, I like the value again. He scored last game. He scored in 3 of the last 5, 3 of the last 10 as well. We always Sam Bennett seems to kill the Leafs, so I don't mind taking a look at Sam Bennett here. Brad Marchand, he always kills the Leafs, so that might be worth a look. And Anton Lundell, we've talked about him for a while now. You're still getting over plus 300 with him. That's hard to believe, with just how good he's been lately for the Panthers. So those are some props I'm liking here tonight on both sides of the equation. And one more for Toronto, too, is McMahon with Matthews and Domi. McMahon just continues to get chances every night. And up on that top line, I probably could see him getting involved again here. All right, Vegas and Winnipeg. 2 teams that were, we expected big things from them, and they have been cratering both of these teams right now. We've got even money, minus 110 both sides, 5.5 the total here in this game. I'm not betting this fucking game. There's just no chance I'm doing that. None at all whatsoever. Do you want to put your money on these 2 teams with the state both of them are in right now? Vegas can't beat Chicago with Chicago on a back-to-back with Soderblom in net and 15 shots on goal in that game. You want to take Vegas, knock yourself out. But you want to take Winnipeg? They can't buy a win. Well, most of the time it's they can't score goals. And then when they do finally see some offense go through, Hellebuck has been ordinary lately. And then we saw Comrie give up a big lead against Toronto when he was in there. And their defensive game is totally shot right now. So you knock yourself out, guys. Trusting one of these 2 damn teams right now, I ain't going to do it. Pass. Anything here, Alex? Vegas, Winnipeg.
I like the first period over, but I want to wait live in game and try and get this at plus money. We've seen these 2 teams be high scoring of late, 7-3 to the first period over in their last 10 each. And they need to get something rolling. These are 2 terrible teams, like you're saying, and something's got to give. I feel like maybe we see some scoring early, but that's the only thing I wait for. And I want to get it at plus money. But other than that, nothing pregame.
Yeah, this I never had interest the moment I saw this game on the board for tonight. Never once had interest betting it, and I still don't. I still don't. I don't even love anything prop-wise for this game because these 2 teams are kind of maddening offensively right now, too, at this point in time. All right, next up, we've got Nashville and Edmonton. It is Edmonton minus 150, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. By the way, I expect it to be Hart and Hellebuck for that Vegas-Winnipeg game in net. And by the way, we still have Logan Stanley's out for Winnipeg, Braden McNabb still out and Theodore still out on the back end for Vegas. All right, Nashville-Edmonton. Like I said, Edmonton minus 150 home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. This is an over for me, and I think I might split it with team total over on the Edmonton side. I think Edmonton gets their offense going. I do. Coming off a debacle against Philly, they lost that game against the Flyers over the weekend. Although I will say this, though, if you watch that Philly-Edmonton game, Edmonton had their chances. Edmonton had their looks. They had 24 shots. A lot of them were quality. Vladar was very good. They do need to step it up. But again, we're seeing the problems right now with Edmonton during this run where they've lost 3 of their last 4. They just don't have a reliable, consistent, night-to-night goaltending tandem that you can bank on. You just can't bank on Calvin Pickard night in, night out. You just can't bank on Connor Ingram night in and night out. You can't do it. You can't do it. And as a result, you're going to have nights like or games like that Philadelphia game where you give up 5 at home to the Flyers. You're going to have games like the Boston game where you give up 6 at home to the Boston Bruins. You just can't trust the battery right now, the goaltending battery for this Edmonton Oilers team. That being said, with this Nashville team coming in here, I think this could be a spot for them to get going offensively. They've talked about it. That the last 2 games that they've lost, they've only scored 2 goals in those 2 games. And Nashville has allowed 3 goals or more in 3 of the last 5 games. Keep that in mind. So it's not like they've been shutting teams down. What was very alarming about Nashville, too, is I do expect UC Saros to be in net. His play has trended down a little bit the last few games. Like his goals saved above average, it's gone from like even or slightly plus on the season to like -3 or 4 just in the last couple of weeks. So he's not playing nearly as well in between the pipes right now for the Nashville Predators going into this game. It looks like Stamkos is playing. People were concerned about Stamkos, but he is in here for the Predators tonight. Obviously, he's had a great run. He's been a big catalyst for the better last month or so that we've seen from the Nashville Predators. Still day-to-day for Marchessault. So I like Edmonton to score, and I think they win the game, but no chance am I laying minus 150 with their goaltending situation right now. But I do trust them offensively tonight. So I will take Edmonton team total over 3.5 at around minus 105, and I like the over 6.5 here. And I'll wait for maybe a live first period over. Just see if I can get a little better price on that. But full game over 6.5, even money pregame. Alex, what do you think? Nashville, Edmonton.
Yeah, this is once again circled for live totals. First period over, full game over. Try and wait a couple minutes in the contest, see if we can get a 6, see if we can get better adjusted price with the over 1.5. Like I said, don't trust either side, but I do trust the offenses here to get some goals. And just to make a note too, the site that we were talking about, it is pinned in the chat, and I put that comment in the chat as well, so all you guys can check that link out.
Yeah, support Jeff Bedford's and everyone else that's involved with that app, in case it's not just him that's been working on it, but everybody, him and the team that put that together. That's a good app. That's especially if you're an NHL totals better. That's something worth using day in, day out to help you with betting NHL totals. So again, slap rubber. Yeah.
.lovable.app for those who are listening to the podcast. Yeah. Slaprubber.lovable.app.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, for me, it's a get right spot offensively. But I don't know what we're going to get as far as them keeping the puck out of the net. Because, again, when you're allowing 11 goals in 2 games combined to Philly and Boston, it tells you that's just where they're at right now. These are guys that, they could every now and then step up and be brilliant like Pickard was against Winnipeg in that one game where he was awesome. But then you could have Pickard or Ingram, who's in net tonight, give up 5 or 6 on you. That's just what you got. You just got to deal with it if you're Edmonton. The volatility of these two goaltenders. And I actually think that if you're going to bet overs with Edmonton every game with one of these two guys starting, I think you'll be profitable here in the next few weeks. If you bet every Edmonton game over, as long as it's a Pickard or an Ingram start, I do think you're going to be profitable moving forward. All right, as far as props for this game, Nashville and Edmonton, Bunting has been really picking it up of late for Nashville. Could certainly see him finding the back of the net for them. What else here? We've talked about Stamkos, Jack Roslovic, obviously. And it looks like for Edmonton, too, they've been making Andrew Mangiapane a healthy scratch, Trent Frederic a healthy scratch for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And it looks like Kasperi Kapanen, who has been out of the lineup since, I think, all the way back in October is when he got injured. Yes, October 19th, 36 games on the shelf due to that lower body injury for the Edmonton Oilers. And he's back in the lineup tonight. And I'm seeing he might be with Draisaitl on that second line. And if that's the case, give me Kapanen. Because his first game back, I know he's going to have to get himself worked up into the pace of the game again, but plus 550 if he's going to be playing with Leon Draisaitl on that second line for the Edmonton Oilers. And remember what he did last year, for this team when he joined the team. He gave them a little bit of an offensive spark. So I might get involved there with Kasperi Kapanen in his return here tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, we got 2 games left. Boston Bruins, Seattle Kraken next up. Boston minus 120 road favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under here in this game. This is another draw. I mean, it's just one of these nights where I think the draws are live. This is a tricky spot for Seattle. They played last night in Calgary, won 5-1. Now they're back home for this game against Boston. And Boston, of course, did not play last night, so they've got the rest advantage. Boston hasn't played since, obviously, the game on Saturday against the Vancouver Canucks, a game where the Boston Bruins, let me just see here. There we go. They won in overtime that game, 3-2 for their second straight win in a row. Definitely a good spot advantage here for Boston. It's Bruins are passing this spot because it's definitely a slam dunk spot for Boston as far as the advantage is concerned. But Seattle, is 7-1 in their last 8. They're playing one of their best stretches of hockey all season. They've won 2 in a row at home hosting the Bruins, 3 of the last 4 in the series overall. I'm not excited enough at this price to take Boston. Could only look at Boston given the spot, but like I said, I'm not that excited to lay a price with them as small road favorites. So this is a pass for me all around. Alex, what do you think? Boston, Seattle.
I lean with the draw here, and I like what that combination mentioned in the chat about Morgan Geeky. He tied with the money line. I'll tie it with the draw over at FanDuel. Bump that up now to plus 753 for Morgan Geeky anytime goal scorer combined with the game to go to overtime.
All right, good stuff there. Oh, by the way, the guy that had the overtime winner against Vancouver, Fraser Minton. Fraser Minton, he's a streaky goal scorer. I think I might look in that direction here tonight for Boston in this game. Geeky's been ice cold after that crazy start to the season. He's certainly cooled off a little bit. Keep that in mind. So he's still up there, though, with Elias. Elias Lindholm suddenly has goals in back-to-back games for the Boston Bruins. So if you trust that streak to continue, you're getting around plus 340 for Elias Lindholm to score tonight for the Bruins. So that's something worth a look. I think we're going to see Decord and Swayman as the two goaltenders here tonight in this game for their respective teams. Keep in mind that for the Seattle Kraken last night, it was Grubauer. And Grubauer again, man, he's found his form, man. He was terrific last night. Faced 41 Calgary shots and only gave up 1 goal. And this is now multiple really good starts in a row for a guy that couldn't stop a beach ball in most games before this little recent run he's put together. So shout out to Philip Grubauer, who has been much better the last several times that we've seen him in net here for the Seattle Kraken. All right, our last game of this Tuesday slate, Columbus Blue Jackets, San Jose Sharks. We've got Columbus minus 130, road favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this game. We have Columbus. We got both of these teams off losses and disheartening in different ways. Columbus's last game was a disheartening loss because they had a lead, and of course they ended up blowing it to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh tied it late, and then Crosby won it in overtime, and they beat Columbus 5-4 on Sunday. That's a disheartening loss. The San Jose loss against Tampa Bay on Saturday, that was disheartening because they were just down big early and just run out of their own arena by a red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning team, losing that game by a score of 7-3. So both teams are going to be probably getting after it here tonight. I'm going to wait for the first period over live because I like over by Fecta here. I'm going to wait for the first period over live, but the full game I have to keep betting the San Jose overs until proven otherwise. It's a 8-0-1 run to the over for San Jose. 8-0-1 in the last 9 games, and it's been a combination of they've given up goals, and it's been a combination of they've been scoring goals, and in some games they've done one or both. And it's led to this 8-0-1 stretch to the over for the San Jose Sharks in their last 9 games, even with Jet Greaves in net, for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it is confirmed it is Jet Greaves. And it's Alex Nedeljkovic for San Jose. And again, up and down is what we've seen out of him, more down than up. 3.14 goals against average, .890 save percentage for Nedeljkovic here in this game. I like the over by Fecta in this game. It's just riding the San Jose over streak. But I'm going to take a shot with San Jose first goal, first period tonight because of just how they were blown out by the Lightning. I think we're going to see, especially on home ice, I think there's purpose to, hey, we were out of that game in the first period. What was that, 3-0 or 4-0 before you could blink for Tampa Bay against San Jose on Saturday afternoon? I mean, they were just dummied in the opening 20 minutes, and they were taken right out of the game by Tampa Bay in that first 20 minutes. So what do you think the focus is going to be? And the message from Ryan Warsofsky here, well, let's have a better opening 20 minutes because, God, that was freaking awful. That was freaking terrible opening 20 minutes against Tampa Bay on Saturday afternoon. So I expect that good opening 20 minutes here. And, in fact, I'm probably also going to dabble in San Jose first period money line as well, in addition to that. But the look that I like the most with that philosophy, that mindset, is the first goal, first period here for San Jose. I do think they'll have a good chance to get on the board early and wipe that awful taste out of their mouth from that dreadful start they had on home ice Saturday afternoon in the blowout loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Alex, what do you think here, Columbus, San Jose?
I like the Sharks here in this spot, and I don't think TBJ is worthy of being a road favorite here, and I get it with goalie Ned in for San Jose. But I think this is a spot, like I said, the way that they played the other day, they bounce back in a big way and get the job done. So I'm on Sharks money line. I will add that first goal, first period look plus 130. I see at FanDuel. I also have Sharks team total over 3, laying 135 with the flat 3. Because like you mentioned, we've been seeing overs in these San Jose games. I also have money line tied with the over 4.5 at plus 135. I grabbed that MGM, and I have a bargain bin that I absolutely love from this contest.
Bargain bin special for Alex. All right, good stuff indeed with that. There's a lot of good props here for this game. Igor Chernyshov, I'm sick of talking about him, but as long as he's up there on the top line, he's always worth a look for the San Jose Sharks. And by the way, Mason Marchment apparently is out for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Lower body injury and will not play. And this is a guy that's given them, 5 goals in 7 games since he's been a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets. So he will be missed. And Sean Monahan, it looks like, is a game time decision or still day to day. We'll see. But the big one there is Marchment. Still a lot of injuries, too, for San Jose. Gaudette may not play tonight, but especially on the blue line, the injuries have mounted again. Klingberg's on IR. Desharnais is still on IR. Mark Medulin is out. So, like I said, they've got a lot of who, the Snoop Dogg gif on Twitter, who, on the blue line right now for San Jose. Yeah, as far as fill-ins right now, Sam Dickinson's getting an opportunity. And Sam Dickinson, by the way, he's going to be a good one. Is he ready for this day in, day out NHL duty? Like I said, and more responsibility with some of these blue line injuries. That's the concern. You got Lil Jagrin, you got an aging Orlov, you've got Vincent Iorio, I should say. Nick Leddy is aging. I mean, there's a lot of tread on those tires with some of those San Jose blue liners right now. So yeah, I'm just riding the San Jose over streak and the San Jose first goal, first period. Alex likes them full game. Sharks to get the win here in this one. And like I said, there are a lot of good player props as well in that game with both of those teams. There was one, I think, too, for Columbus that I was interested in. Yeah, Werenski, of course. Zach Werenski's been shooting the puck a lot of late, so keep an eye on that. Also keep an eye on who's filling the Marchment spot with Fantilli and Marchenko, because whoever that is, when the lineup comes out, that's going to be worth a goal prop. And here's a sneaky one, too, for you, very sneaky. Pavel Regenda, who's for them has come up lately and really found some footing offensively for them of late. So, like I said, very, very fascinating. He's actually got 3 goals in the last 5 games for them, and he scored one of their goals against Tampa Bay in that loss. So he has actually stepped up with the opportunity and found the back of the net here for San Jose. All right, great stuff. Great show. Great card, hopefully. Looking forward to it. There's certainly a lot of great. We'll see about whether it's a great card from a betting results standpoint, but I'm telling you, it's a great card from a viewing standpoint, from a fan standpoint. There's some really good games tonight. Colorado, Tampa, good game. Anaheim, Philly is an interesting game. Dallas, Carolina, good game. Florida, Toronto, those rivals, playoff history, everything that's at stake in a tight Atlantic division. That's a good game. So there's a lot of good games here tonight as far as this Tuesday NHL card is concerned. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Yeah, I misspoke. I said we'll announce the Patreon betcast dates. No, we won't. We keep that a secret, actually. We keep that a secret until the day of the betcast. Yeah. That's our rule with the Patreon live betcast. We just
maybe we can announce. Let's announce one maybe later this week, and then the other one will drop on the day of.
Not to mention, I'm still mulling over the potentials. I've narrowed it down. We got a few. We're going to try to corner some smaller slates, and just days with 3, 4, 5 games as opposed to the 8, 9, 10 games, because these betcasts are smaller in length. We don't go all night on the Patreon live betcasts, only 3 hours. So, like I said, definitely we will announce the dates of the Patreon exclusive live betcasts later this week. And of course, we already announced the date for the free-for-all open to the public live betcast in January, and it will be this 2 weeks from tonight, Tuesday, January 20th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So again, Tuesday, January 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us for that betcast. WizardSportsPicks.com. Make sure you join us there, too. It's been a great all-sports run last 30 days. Profitable seasons in NHL, NBA, college basketball, and NFL. Number 1 on the website in NFL and college basketball in particular. Number 2, I think, in NHL. So it's been great. WizardSportsPicks.com. Check it out. and get on board. And check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. We've had a great response. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. And again, we've got our 2 Patreon exclusive live betcasts coming up later this month as well, available only to our Patreon members. So get on board for that. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So check it out, $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
We'll hopefully finally have the goalie charts updated tonight. We keep having injuries and changes left and right, so we have to keep making moves accordingly. But hope to have that up tonight. So definitely check Patreon.
Especially after last night. Holy shit. Yeah,
exactly right. And also check, we will have the link. The links will be free on patreon.com for the links that every better should follow. That will be a free and open to everyone who follows the Patreon page, not just for subscribers. So we will have that there open and available for you either tonight or tomorrow. But also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have until midnight tonight Eastern to save 25% off all orders that are $50 or more. It's a great time to stock up and save. 25% off of $50 or more expires at midnight tonight Eastern. Do not delay on that. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis at royalcannabisshop.com. 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Alex, what do you like for bargain bin special?
I got a pair of them. First, we'll start with the one that's interesting. I kind of came up with during the middle of the show. And it's in that Vancouver-Buffalo game. I like Vancouver to get the victory there, but I also like Josh Doan to get a goal. So let's combine Canucks money line with Josh Doan anytime goal. You can get that plus 10-11 at FanDuel. Also, so plus 900 at Bet Online. So shop around for that price. That would be my first bargain bin special night. The second bargain bin special comes from that Columbus-San Jose game. And you got a guy playing against his former team and also just signed a 3-year extension. That's Alex Wenberg of the San Jose Sharks. Get him anytime goal scorer plus 400, best price available at DraftKings. So that's my second bargain bin. First one is Josh Doan anytime goal tied with the Canucks to win the game at plus 10-11. And the second one will be Alex Wenberg of the Sharks to score against his old team plus 400. It's my 2 bargain bin specials for the night.
That's a good one, man, Alex Wenberg. That's a really good one because it's 2 angles. It's the contract bump angle, just got re-signed, re-upped by San Jose, and a former team angle, former jacket. So that's a really good one with Alex Wenberg. Good stuff. That's one I'll be betting for sure. Wenberg there, and I like the other one too. Very creative. So 2 bargain bin specials for Alex here on this Tuesday. My bargain bin specials. I'm going to go with 2 as well. I'm going to go with the Luke Hughes hunch at plus 700. I am. I just feel it tonight. Watch that. It's just all is right with the world after what he suffered through Sunday. And it was a bad game. I mean, 2 own goals. It was as bad a night as you could ask for the kid. But watch him obviously have a better game tonight against the Islanders. I will take a shot here. This is definitely more of a take a shot bargain bin special, but plus 700, Luke Hughes for the New Jersey Devils. And the other one is in the last game we talked about. We're going to ride the wave with this guy. He suddenly joined the Sharks, and he's scoring. Pavel Regenda, plus 575 at Bet Rivers. I think there's a chance he finds the back of the net again. He got a goal against Tampa Bay. He scored more often than not since he's been up. So Pavel Regenda for the San Jose Sharks, plus 575, along with Luke Hughes for New Jersey, plus 700 for my 2 bargain bin specials of the night for Tuesday. All right, best bets. Best bet streak comes to an end. 4-1 still for the new year, but we'll start a new one hopefully tonight. Alex, what do you like here for best bet?
Shout out our guy Tim, who recognized I was wearing the Flyers jersey today, and it's for a reason. I'm loving that draw with Anaheim and Philly. This is the classic draw season spot. East versus West. Philly team that's been road weary. Anaheim team that's on a losing streak, desperately needing to get points, get things back in rhythm. 2 quality goaltenders. I expect to see some good defense in this contest. So give me Anaheim, Philly, draw plus 325, or like I said, shop for best price available, which is game to go to overtime, yes, plus 340 over at Caesars. That's my best bet for tonight.
All right, good stuff. My best bet. All right, we're going back to the bread and butter. You know, we were let down with a side best bet. Totals, man. That's where, the majority of my best bets lie. Let's go to that Panthers-Leafs game. Whew. Over 6. Minus 110 for Florida and Toronto. I just think Leaf overs have great value right now with 2 best shutdown defensemen out right now for the Leafs. They are not going to have as easy a time keeping the puck out of the net, and we've seen it. Winnipeg, who can't score a lick half the time, got 5 goals against this team last week, and the Islanders come back from a deficit to put 4 past them. It's just a defense that's vulnerable right now, and I think Florida finds the back of the net, but Toronto's heating up offensively, and their captain is heating up offensively. Austin Matthews, I expect them to score some goals here as well. So Florida, Toronto, over 6, minus 110 for my best bet here for this Tuesday card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, like I said, great show. We're back tomorrow. On Wednesday, Perla will be back in the house. And a reminder again, we got the Betcast, the free-for-all one in 2 weeks. Tuesday, January 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you put that down in your calendars. All right, a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern, if you can't watch the show live. Oh, by the way, correction on the best bet. Let me just see. Yeah, let's make it that over 5.5, minus 135 with Florida, Toronto. I mentioned over 6. I'm going to lay the minus 1. I'd rather get the 5.5 going for me. So there you go. Over 5.5, minus 135 is the official recommendation. And that's at DraftKings, by the way, that you can find that. So Florida, Toronto, over 5.5, minus 135 will be the official recommendation for me for the Tuesday Ice Guys Show best bet. All right, great stuff. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat. And I want to shout out Timothy there. OG Swag 106 is his handle there in the YouTube chat. This guy has been, supportive isn't a strong enough word for him.
Yeah.
What we do. And he's always, let's get it. Let's positivity, beacon of light, great man. Exactly. Just always positive, always so supportive and promoting and mentioning the stuff we do here with the Ice Guys Show. He's on every Betcast as well lately with us as well. So like I said, he's just a very supportive individual and spreads positivity in the space we know is sports betting. And that we need more of that. So
Definitely.
Shout out to you. I did want to mention because
Cheers.
you're definitely supportive of everything that we do, and we appreciate it. So with that in mind, a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. And one last thing, and this will be it, I swear. Sweden, congratulations on your World Junior Hockey Championship gold medal. Well-deserved. They were the much better team against Czechia last night. Controlled that game. Congrats to them winning World Junior gold. Now we're done. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you again tomorrow on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.